How's it going? I'm Johnny Yukon, and I'm here talking with Milky.
Firstly, before we get into the new song Keys, could you kind of tell us a bit about your musical background and what led you to pursuing it as a career?
It definitely was like, at a very young age, I just got super into music. I'm like the youngest of four. My mom, sung in the church choir and stuff. I definitely was the most musical, but like all my siblings, we were all like in choir and doing piano and stuff like that. But yeah, I just took a real liking to it and would start even like writing my own songs, when I was like 8 or something, like on the piano. Yeah, it was just kind of always, and I was building my own drum sets as a kid out of like boxes and random stuff. So it was always something I was kind of gravitating towards.
Yeah, it's so awesome. So, your single Keys is out now, which is super exciting, such a great song. What inspired the song and its like conceptual exploration?
I definitely think like the actual music of it, like that synth and like kind of the dark swelling nature of it kind of set the tone for the concept. I was working with Burns, who is a producer I work with a lot and a good friend. Sometimes our sessions can just turn into like therapy sessions in a way, talking about relationships or things that are on our mind. Yeah, and so that one really kind of came from a real place and a real story that wasn't like the easiest to put in a song. I've kind of spoke on it before, but he, I give him a lot of props on challenging me to kind of tell that story and yeah, really put it to paper. And it kind of all fit perfectly with, again, like the tone of the music of the song. So yeah, it all kind of just happened.
Love it. And
Yeah.
so, is there like a particular line or lyric from the song that you find will get stuck in your head more often than not, or maybe one that like you're most proud of?
It's funny. I feel like a lot of people like the I want to dive in the ocean line kind of jumps out to them. But I always loved like the first part, like the fashion got her all tied up, nose white and she lined up. Like mainly the melody of that. That's always been my favorite part. It just kind of comes in so aggressive, but I'm such like a melody driven person. I listen to so much music from different countries where I don't even speak the language. I don't know exactly what's being said, but I love melody. So yeah, that melody really sticks with me even more than what is considered like the hook.
So, how
Yeah.
did the idea like for the song's visual come to life, and how involved are you when it comes to like planning the visuals?
Very involved. It's very important to me. I'm a pretty big film head, and I love movies. Like even I don't really watch TV shows too often. I just love movies. So this one wasn't really inspired by a movie. I've always loved looking up to the sky. I love seeing planes and things flying, kind of isolated things. And yeah, I saw a hot air balloon and I was like, that looks pretty sick. And yeah, I'd kind of always wanted to do a video with that. I didn't know if it was actually possible and if I was going to be mentally prepared to go up in a hot air balloon. I told my manager about it and she loved the idea and we kind of talked through together like a story. And then the director Jay, who came on, absolutely like brought it to life and found a place where we could shoot it, and we pulled it off somehow.
Yeah, no, it's so sick. I love the hot air balloon. What was
Thank
like
you.
your most memorable moment on set whilst filming?
Probably when I was like freaking out the most. Like I didn't know with hot air balloons you're supposed to really only go out super early in the morning or really late or like at sunset, because when it gets hot, I guess the wind starts to swirl a lot more. So I was up there with this one other guy who thankfully was a professional, but he was getting freaked out because as things tend to do on set, things can get we can get behind on the schedule. So we didn't actually go up in the sky till maybe an hour or so later than we were supposed to. And they kept wanting to get more and more shots, and they're like, one more shot. And he was like, we gotta get down, because the wind kept blowing us further from kind of like the base camp. So yeah, I was kind of freaking out. At that point, I'd gotten used to being up in the hot air balloon, but I was definitely freaking out a little bit. So that probably is my biggest memory, is being like, okay, are we gonna get out of this alive? And then we had to land in like the backyard of this like farm, and it was insane. But yeah, the whole day was fun. It was a fun shoot. It was really hot. we were out in like the desert. So, but yeah, feeling like I was stuck up in the sky was not fun, but definitely memorable.
Yeah, well, it looks good on camera.
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully we could edit it together.
So you mentioned earlier that for this particular song, you kind of had like the music before, like delving into the lyricism and concept-wise. Is that kind of something that you usually do when you're writing? Like, can you kind of give us a bit of insight into your creative process?
I produce as well, so a lot of my music starts on my computer, and I play a lot of the chords, and I love building like the music first, and then a lot of melodies can come to me. So, you know, a lot of artists will probably say, and maybe you've heard, like, you kind of just get on the mic and see what comes out, and usually it's gibberish or nonsense. But amongst that, there's usually a couple of words that kind of flow out. So yeah, I would say generally that's my process. I'm not the biggest journaler or writing down, you know, lyrics or concept ideas in my notes. Maybe I should, but I kind of prefer to be in the moment with it and see where the music takes me. So that's usually how it goes for me. Definitely starts with the music and the actual melody of the vocal.
Yeah, so sick. And so what do you think like the advantages of producing your own music are and having like that complete kind of control over the outcome?
I think it's a good advantage. Like, you know, sometimes I wish I was better at taking songs or taking beats, and being a writer first, I've done that plenty where, you know, someone sends me 10 beats and I can write to it. But yeah, when it comes to my stuff, I mean, I think the purest way, like, I don't play guitar. So I've only played piano and keys my whole life. And I think the purest form of like writing a song is sitting down at a piano or picking up a guitar and playing some chords and kind of like seeing what the first things come out sound like and feel like. So to be able to play the chords and then kind of build the sonics exactly how I want to, I feel like that's usually, when it comes to my music, those are the songs that end up sticking and coming out. Or I don't know, I feel like it's all just like kind of one moment. So, but you know, there's tons of people that don't produce and make some of my favorite music. So I think any process works. But for me, I think the advantage is really, I feel like that's when I make my most unique stuff is when I'm building it all at once, and then I can bring it into Burns or another producer, and we can flesh it out.
You touched on it like just the tiniest bit there, but you have written songs for other artists like, you know, like Lil Wayne, Ty Dolla $ign, Camila Cabello, Bridges, pretty awesome artists. How do you approach like penning tracks for yourself versus other artists?
Yeah, that's a good question. I almost feel like I'm a little quicker when I'm writing for other people. I think for myself, I can maybe overthink a little more, or there's no rush technically. So I'll, you know, record certain lyrics and then a week or two later go back and completely change it. But yeah, I think it's a little easier for me to write for other people. I think like if there's a set, like, oh, we're writing for this artist today, I can kind of tap into what they're going through, or what I would want to hear them sing. I feel like there's freedom in both, but I feel like there's a little more freedom in writing for others in a weird way, because I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to my stuff that I'm like, if it's not happening that day, I'm like, oh no, this is garbage for me. So it's definitely two different processes when it comes to lyrics and all of that. But I still think I kind of approach it the same way with melodies. I usually, you know, hear the track and then go in the booth or get on the mic and again, like kind of see what comes out. Very free flowing process that I like to do.
What do you have in store for the rest of the year?
The rest of the year I'm excited for. I mean, I have a ton of music in the vault that I'm really excited for. So definitely a project of some sorts around the corner. Figuring out the next single, obviously trying to figure out a video and what I want to do and kind of how I want the whole project to feel. I spent a good chunk of last year building a project and I'm happy with it. But I definitely, first few months of this year, I've been making some stuff I feel like is even more unique and different. And so I'm kind of in the process of blending it all and figuring out what's going to work. But a lot of music to come, and hopefully shows at some point. That's the dream right now, is to get out on the road or do some local shows and see people in real life. Kanye, Coldplay, Radiohead, Drake, The Weeknd. I've always said probably Kid A by Radiohead. That really inspired me to like steal my sister's laptop and make like my first song in GarageBand. So that was kind of the start of it all. That or Technologic by Daft Punk, the song. But that album is incredible. So Gasoline. I'd go Interstellar. Hannah Montana. Like Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. I just remember having that Queen shit going in the house growing up. I believe it took me a while to get to it. I think it was Passion Pit. Potentially Passion Pit. Yeah, we'll go with that. It was probably a Christian rap album when I was like in second grade or something. But the first one I remember buying on iTunes was Graduation. Backstreet Boy. I think some people would say Coldplay should be a guilty pleasure. I don't agree, but let's think. I mean, I love some good pop music. Like Teenage Dream by Katy Perry is a banger.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm sure if someone walked in on me listening to that, they'd be a little confused. I'd probably say The Weeknd again. I gotta say Kanye, I think. Yeah. To stay off social media and be present and care way less about what people are going to think or say. Probably, I think I always knew, but the moment I really made a decision was my first year of college. At the end of my first semester, I was like, I gotta go try to do this and not be in school. Yeah, and it was after watching the VH1 Kanye documentary from like way back.